You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Money.
Welcome. Good morning, everybody. Today is Saturday, May 4th, 2024. We are already 4 days into May. How about that? We already have in the building my brother, my family, your car. What's going on, your car? Good morning. And talk about no fumbling. Your car is in the West Coast. It is 6:05 a.m. over there. He is already up and at it. Salute to you, your car. Always getting after it. So, we are doing our weekly numbers today, like we did last week. Mitch was a thumbs up for us to make it happen. So here we are. We're gonna do it. We're gonna have some fun, and then we are going to wrap it up for today. Have tons of things to do. I've been up since 5:30 ish. Had to record a video for Monday. Had a coaching call, and then 30 minutes before getting on the live, had another call where we were troubleshooting MongoDB for one of my tech barbarians. All that good stuff, right? So we are getting it. We do not miss. All right. We don't miss. We're here. All right. So let's get into our numbers for this week. If you do me a favor, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and like the video and share the video. All that good stuff. But we're here to numbers. We are talking about money. Yes, we are.
Money.
Right. We're going to figure out how these numbers affect our pockets, affect our dollars. Your car even sent me some links that I'm still parsing through that I still have to make sense of them, because a lot of these numbers things, they're a bit foreign to me. So we're going to review some numbers that we have from our numbers to watch for this week. And as we start to figure out other numbers and what they mean, we're going to start integrating them into these shows so we can be very well understood, so that we can break it down and we can properly allocate our time and our money very, very efficiently. We are all about efficiency. Okay. So let's just jump into it. All right. So we're going to read through the numbers to watch for this week again. And if anyone wants to call in, the link is pinned to the top of the chat on YouTube. And it should be in the description as well, I hope, if you're watching from somewhere else, but we'll figure it out. Right. So, let's do this. We have, and you know what? I'm going to set a timer as well. I'm going to set a timer because we have things to do today. Saturdays are busy for me. Saturday is my hardest working day. All right. So we're going to get to it. Let me throw up a timer here. And we're going to say a timer till, we'll do a time frame timer. We're going to go to 10:15ish. If we finish earlier, great. If not, we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. But we've got work to do, right? I have a full day ahead of me. So let me add that timer. Where did it put it? Let me see. Oh, it's hidden. No, it's not. I don't know. Oh, there it goes right here. So let me take that timer and we're just going to move it right about. Let's move it right here. Perfect. All right, cool. So let's get. Oh, we already have Mitch in the building who is going to help us with the numbers today. Mitch says, take off the blazer, loosen up the tie. Superman is alive. I gotta get an intro sound for when Mitch arrives because you know that's how we roll. That's how we roll, right? So let's get into it. Let me zoom in on this one more time. There we go. So we reviewed this on Monday morning, and let's go through it real quick, and then we'll go through the numbers. Okay. So this was let me see. So all right, cool. So we have wait. Is this right? This from last. This from last week. Where's the week? Where's the week after that? I don't know. I have the links anyways, but I thought this was from. This is the wrong one. But let me see if I can do LinkedIn numbers to watch. Whatever. We'll just use this, right? Because I had copied it anyway. So the numbers that we're going to be watching this week is let me see right here. So we have the Conference Board will release a monthly consumer confidence survey. We have the Institute of Supply Management will release. Let me zoom in on this as well. Kind of small. They will release the monthly purchasing managers index, which tracks the manufacturing sector is expanding. And then we have Bureau of Labor Statistics for the job openings and labor turnover. Federal Reserve will meet to set interest rates. And then we have the U.S. Department of Labor initial jobless claims for the previous week. And then the April job report and non-manufacturing version. Okay, so we're going to be looking at this week or today, and we'll go from there. Right. Next time I'll have to save that LinkedIn link so we can go over what we were going to be looking at. This, whatever. Anyways, we're figuring it out as we go along. So let's get into our very first one. Right. So we're going to be looking at the Conference Board releasing its monthly consumer confidence survey, which measures how optimistic Americans are about the economy. All right. So without further ado, let's go. So the first link. So I'll drop this link in the chat for anyone who is interested. And let's scroll down. So this was updated on April 30th, 2024. And US consumer confidence retreats. It retreats in April. So consumers are more pessimistic about future business conditions, jobs, and income. Whoa, what a time. What a time. The Conference Board Consumer Confidence Index deteriorated for the third consecutive month in April, retreating from 97, 1,985 equals 100, from a downwardly revised 103 in March. Despite these 3 months of weakness, the gauge continues to move sideways within a relatively narrow range that's largely held steady for more than 2 years. The Present Situation Index, based on consumers' assessment of current business and labor market conditions, declined to 142.9. Does anybody know what this 185 equals 100 and like what this 142.9 means? We can research it, but if Mitch or your car might have an idea of what this number means, that would be very, very helpful because I'm a little confused by it myself. So we'll find out, right? We'll find out. So, let's see. In April, from a downwardly revised 146.8 in March. Meanwhile, the expectations index, based on consumers' short-term outlook for income, business, and labor market conditions, fell to 66.4. 1985 equals 100, or 1,985 equals. So, is it that 100% would be if this number was at 1985? I don't know. A little confused here. We'll look it up. From a slightly upwardly revised 74 last month. An expectation index reading below 80 is often signals of a forthcoming recession. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Do I have a mystery sound here? I don't know. Maybe not. Okay. So let's continue. Confidence retreated further in April, reaching its lowest level since July of 2022, as consumers became less positive about the current labor market situation and more concerned about further business conditions, job availability, and income, said Dana M. Peterson, chief economist at the conference board. Despite April's dip in the overall index since mid 2022, optimism about the present situation continues to more than offset concerns about the future. Is that so? Is that so? All right. Bye, Facebook. It is what it is. In the month, confidence declined among consumers of all age groups and almost all income groups, except for the $25,000 to $49,999 bracket, $50,000. Why do they have to go you could just say 50, right? Can't we just say 50? Anyways, nonetheless, consumers under 35 continued to express greater confidence than those over 35 because, when you're young, you're very optimistic, apparently. In April, households with incomes below 25,000 and those with incomes above 75,000 reported the largest deterioration in confidence. However, over a 6-month basis, confidence for consumers earning less than 50,000 has been stable. I mean, can you go any lower? I don't know. I could be reading this totally wrong. Mitch is here to help, all right? But confidence among consumers earned more has weakened. So as you start making more, you see it's hard. Like the climb to the top gets a lot tougher as you get higher up. When you're at the bottom, there's only up at that point from the bottom, right? But as you get to the bottom and you look back and you see as you get to the top, you look back and you see how far the bottom is and how hard you had to climb to get there. You do not want to go back. All right. So interesting. This is just my perspective. Trying to figure out these numbers. Okay. Mitch added, there definitely is still optimism. Maybe shouldn't. All right. I take that back. All right. Anyways, so consumer confidence index. So index 1985 equals 1,000 or equals 100. So, let's see. So shaded area represents period of recession. So 2008 to 2009, and then 2020, we had a small recession in there, probably around the time of COVID or the pandemic. Sorry, YouTube. And Peterson added, according to April's write-in responses, elevated price levels, especially for food and gas, dominated consumers' concerns with politics and global conflict as distant runner-up. Average 12-month inflation expectations remain stable at 5.3% despite concerns about food and energy prices. Consumers perceived a likelihood of a U.S. recession over the next 12 months rose slightly in April, but it's still well below the May 2023 peak. Assessments of the present situation weakened in April, but remains a relatively optimistic territory. While consumers continue to rate current business conditions positively, their current views of the current employment situation weakened, with fewer consumers saying the jobs are plentiful and more reporting jobs are hard to get. And trust me, navigating through LinkedIn, I see that all the time where people are, trying to get jobs and they're not really getting responses, they're not getting interviews, all of that. So I can definitely see where there could be a more pessimistic approach, and hearing about all these layoffs from all these tech companies, all that good stuff. So, or maybe bad stuff, however you see it. But yeah, so it's interesting, right? Let's see. So meanwhile, expectations for the next 6 months slipped to the lowest level since July 2022, driven by a more pessimistic outlook for future business conditions, labor market conditions, and income expectations. In addition, consumers were less optimistic about their family's financial situation, both currently and over the next 6 months, measures not included in calculating the present situation and expectation index. Expectation that stock prices will increase over the year ahead declined slightly after rising every month since November of last year. Meanwhile, the share of consumers expecting higher interest rates over the year ahead rose again to 53.8% in April. Let me read that one more time because I might have missed something. Meanwhile, the share of consumers expecting higher interest rates over the year ahead rose again. So that means people are expecting to get even higher interest rates in the next year. So interesting. It rose to 53.8% in April. Over a 6-month basis, buying plans for homes and big ticket appliances, which are interest rate sensitive, continue to soften. Vacation plans also decreased to the lowest level since 2023, with planned trips both within the US and abroad declining. We see something coming. According to a supplemental question asking consumers what spending they would cut back on to save money, discretionary purchase rose to the top, including food away from home, clothing/fashion items, entertainment away from home, and vacations. Meanwhile, fewer consumers plan to reduce spending on non-discretionary purchases like childcare, education, and healthcare. So the present situation. Let's see what Mitch had to say. Mitch says, "I meant it's bad. In Jersey, they make you pay for gas before they give it to you now because people were driving off without paying gas. Gas in Jersey is not self-serve." Oh, you know what? That is interesting because when I went to New York a long time ago, I remember there were still people at the pumps who were pumping for you. And do you, like up there? Do you guys like give them the card and then they swipe the card and give you the card back after like the whole transaction is done? Because down here it's self-service and then like you still have to pay. You still have to like prepay in a way, but like you put your card in and everything like that, or you go inside and you say, "I want 20 on pump one," and then you put the gas in your car. And if there's change, you go and get it. If not, then you're done, unless you want a receipt. But yeah, so I guess we prepay down here as well. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. All right. So Mitch also says higher interest rates. The feds didn't raise them. They just kept it where it is, making it seem they did something, but it's still high. Tell me about it. So yeah, and we do have that to review today in our list. All right. So present situation. Consumers' assessment of current business conditions was moderately more positive in April. 20.6% of consumers said business conditions were good, up from 19.2% in March. 17.4% said business conditions were bad, down from 17.6%. Consumers' appraisal of the labor market deteriorated in April. 40.2% of consumers said jobs were plentiful, down from 41.7% in March. All right, so the way that people felt about the labor market, that there was a lot of jobs available, that went down. Which I guess if it's true that the unemployment rate is low, then I guess there's not as much jobs available. But as we hear about, raising corporate taxes and all that type of stuff, two things are going to happen, right? See, this is not even numbers related. This is common sense economics related, right? If you make it a terrible condition for businesses to thrive in, then those businesses are going to leave. And then you're going to be like, "Oh my God, they sent our jobs to Mexico and to India and to wherever else," right? South America, the Caribbean. But if you're making it like more expensive and tougher conditions for business to thrive in, they're going to get theirs at the end of the day, right? They're going to get theirs, right? All right, so let's keep going. So it says consumers' appraisal of the labor. Okay, we read that. 14.9% of consumers said jobs were hard to get, which is up from 12.2. So that grew like over 2%, right? Like 2.7% that grew, saying that jobs were hard to get, which I see that all the time. Mitch also says that you pay after, and if you go to other states, you do it yourself. Yep, that's how I've seen it in most places. And how can it be low when layoffs are every day? So is it that all right? So let's say this, right? If you were to get laid off from a high paying job in tech or something like that, right? Let's say you were making 100K, you get laid off, and now you get a job making I don't know, let's use something crazy. Let's say like a manager at Target, for instance, right? And you're making like 50K, although you have a which I don't know who would take that, but let's say that's the scenario, and you have a drop of 50K in income. That still shows that you are like employed. So even if I'm pretty sure even if you were to lose a full time job and you take up a part time job, they're going to count it as you having a job where the sentiment of labor can be low because you're not getting another software engineering job. But the way that the numbers, like you said the other day, men lie, women lie, numbers manipulate, right? Numbers and manipulate. All right. So expectation. So we have a graph over here: present situation, and then the expected situation. So we are right about here, and the expectations index is here, and the present situation is here, right? Interesting. All right, so let's get over it. Expectations 6 months hence. Consumers were more pessimistic about the short-term business conditions outlook in April. 12.8% of consumers expect business conditions to improve, down from 14.3% in March. 19.9% expect business conditions to worsen up from 18.5. So we're down at least a whole percentage point from business conditions to improve, and we're up over a full percentage point on expectations for business to worsen, right? So that's not a good sign. Consumer assessment of short-term labor market outlook worsened in April. 11.7% of consumers expect jobs to become more available, down from 14.3%. 19.6% anticipate fewer jobs, up from 18.8% last month, right? Consumers' assessment of their short-term income prospects also deteriorated. So April was a bad month, right? Maybe people will feel some kind of way when it comes to paying their taxes, which if the current taxes in place expire, I've heard that everybody's taxes are going up by the thousands. So I don't know. That's what I've heard. Right. All right. So consumer assessment of their short-term income prospects also deteriorated. 15.4% of consumers expect their incomes to increase, down from 17.3% in March. So almost 2% more or less of people expect their incomes to increase, right? And 13.9% expect their income to decrease, up from 13.5%, which is highly unfortunate. They must have heard about the tax is expiring, right? So assessment for family finances and recession risk. Consumer sentiment of their family's current financial situation was less positive in April. Consumers, so let's see. So family's current financial situation. So this is the line for good, and this is the line for bad. Consumers are also less optimistic about their family financial situations going forward. Better is up here, and worse is over here. Consumers' perceived likelihood of a U.S. recession over the next 12 months rose slightly in April. Over the next 12 months, consumer perception that there's going to be a recession grew. Interesting. Reduce spending to save money where consumers are planning to cut back. So we have the red is non-discretionary items. So people are cutting back from food away from home, like we read, clothing, fashion, entertainment, vacations, alcohol. Oh, that's going to be interesting. And then major household items. That's normally something that gets cut back on. Home entertainment. I can see that. Technology items, I can see that. Although sometimes technology items can be non-discretionary items, in my opinion. Maybe you don't need 5 keyboards, but it's interesting. I mean, I think I need 5 keyboards. I'm pretty sure your car needs 5 keyboards. I think Mitch at least needs 2 keyboards. I'm just saying. But I digress. All right. So all of these, and then so the first non-discretionary item to be reduced would be groceries, and then driving. Interesting. Like going less places, because if you can't drive to like food away from home, going to shop at the mall, entertainment away from home, vacations, then you're definitely gonna be doing less driving. And no plans to reduce spending whatsoever. We are just gonna wing it. We're gonna live life on credit, 18.5%. Right? It's all right. The monthly consumer board based on an online sample is conducted for the conference board of Toluna, a technology company that delivers real-time consumer insights and market research through its innovative technology expertise and panel of over 36 million consumers. The cutout date for this preliminary result was April 24th. All right. So let me move this timer so we don't lose it. Actually, I guess we could leave it because it'll keep going. All right, cool. So let's go back to full screen. We shall go back to full screen. And I should move it actually. Let's go back. Let me see if I can move it. Let's go to, where is that? Let's go here. Cool. Let's go back up here. So that is the conference board's consumer confidence survey. All right. Let's see what we have in the chat real quick. Let's see. So we said true, and it says that's why having a job is definitely good. You shouldn't really rely on it. That is total fact. Message, right? I always talk about, like, you have to chain things together. Have a cycle. Like, the things, for me, the way that my feedback loop is, the things that I learn at work, I take that, the concept of it, and then I apply it to what I do personally, what I do to learn, what I do to grow. Like, like for work, they were using Terraform. I wanted to learn Terraform. We started streaming about how to use Terraform. We use it for a project that we're working on with my tech barbarians, and then we're able to share that and use that infrastructure. I've been on that infrastructure for the past. I've been on that infrastructure for like the past 2 months now through Terraform and AWS. Was talking to Ferris yesterday on his stream about, hey, looking at Terraform. Not like right now, but as you continue with your project, he's going to be working on some amazing projects. Tune in on Monday night, and doing that, you're building more and more skills, making yourself more marketable, being able to offer services to other people, building that cycle. All right. All right. So we continue, and Mitch says what we all already know, that people are not cutting back on alcohol.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
It is what it is. It is what it is. And Mitch also said that's why 95% of people want to work remote. That's one of the reasons. The other reason is that they might want to put a mouse jiggler on and go to the mall, and then they run into their boss at the mall, and now they're in a whole heap of trouble. Right? So, I support working remote, but you better be on your best behavior. And if you out there, you overemployed people who are taking all these risks, make me lose my opportunity to work from home, we will have serious problems. There's going to be some serious consequences and repercussions. All right. So just let it be known. Let it be known. And my guy, your car in the building says agile is a lifestyle. That's a fact. message. And and Mitch is like, your car, no waterfall. You know what, Mitch, I might have to put you on a PIP. Give me a thumbs up if we want Mitch to go on a PIP, right? If Mitch has to go on a performance improvement plan, give me a thumbs up. And we got my guy in the building, Darcel. Welcome to the show, Darcel. Darcel says, I think we abuse credit the wrong way. It causes too much stress for instant gratification. Look at, we dropping, I'm not even finished reading. All right, and see, I put on the 15-second thing on it, and I'm right. It makes you feel like you can afford things now, but you pay in the end if you are not smart with money.
Message.
Nope, that's a fact. And you get DJ Kata to tell you,
Congratulations, you played yourself.
You played yourself, right? So that's true. And you know, like I'm making sure I'm trying to get rid of all my credit sources so I don't have to use them, because like even that, you know, they sell you like, oh, you know, you get all the points and you can pay it all off. But now when you go to pay your whole credit card off, it's like you paying that big lump sum. Like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't know. I have to reevaluate all that type of stuff, you know? So anyways, let's keep going. It's pretty funny guy. Pretty funny. And all right, let's go to our next one for today. We're going to be looking at, let's go to let's see, we're here. All right, we are going to be looking at now the Institute of Supply Management releasing its monthly purchasing index, which tracks the manufacturing sector if the manufacturing sector is expanding. A manufacturing version is expected later in the week. So with this one in particular, right? I was like, I think I got it, but it was a little bit confusing because the so the non-manufacturing one, they changed the name of that one, so that was a little bit confusing to find. But let's jump into this one was released May 1st. The manufacturing, it's not the one that I really wanted, was it? Let's try this one. I got it from investing.com.
Money.
Shout out to you, your car. Always appreciate it. I will. All right. I was gonna wait to read it, but let's read that now, right? Your car says, no pip for Mitch. You see? Your car is a great guy. He is a great guy. That was a good joke. True to myself, brother chatted yesterday to see if he could come off the pip. Anton said, 2 more sides. That's hilarious. I appreciate the support of your car. That was a good one. All right. Enough fun and games. Let's get. See, I have too much fun with you guys, right? Let's get to this one. So, it was a little. Is it this one? Yeah, it's like they combine these reports. So I'm trying to make sure I have the right report. But let's take a look at this one, right? So this one was released May 1st, which would have been Wednesday. All right, that's a good one. So the Institute of Supply Management, Manufacturing Purchasing Manager Index report on business is based on data compiled from monthly replies to questions asked of purchasing and supply executives in over 400 industrial companies. For each of the indicators measured, new orders, backlogs of orders, new export orders, imports, production, supplier deliveries, inventories, consumer inventories, employment, and prices. This report shows the percentage reporting each response, the net differences between the numbers of responses, and the positive economic directions and the negative economic directions, and the diffusion index. That's a lot of words that we have homework to do. We have a lot of study. you guys are killing me. I'm gonna wait to read Mitch's comment after we're done with this. All right, because that was too good. That was too good. All right. The diffusion index includes the percentage of positive responses plus 1/2 of those responding the same, considered positive. The resulting single index number is then seasonally adjusted to allow for effects of repetitive intra-year variation resulting primarily from normal differences in weather conditions, various institutional arrangements, and differences attributable to non-movable holidays. I guess a non-movable holiday is like July 4th, regardless of the day it falls on. It's always going to be on July 4th versus Labor Day, which can it's going to be like the first Monday, regardless of the actual date it falls on, from my understanding. That's just by reading it. That's how I see it, right? But this one is a bit tougher to parse. So we're going to have to I'm going to spend some more time this week to get a better understanding of what all these words mean, because it's kind of like mumbo jumbo. Mitch, our VP of Data Analytics, because that's the only way I can enforce the non-compete that I have on Mitch. That's why he can't go to another channel. But yeah, if all of these words make sense to you, if all these words make sense to you, please help us out in the chat. All right. All seasonal adjustment factors are supplied by the U.S. Department of Commerce and are subject annually to relatively minor changes when conditions warrant them. The PMI is a composite index based on the seasonally adjusted diffusion indices for 5 of the indicators with varying weights: new orders 30%, production 25%, employment 20%, supplier deliveries 15%, and inventories 10%. A higher than expected reading should be taken as positive or bullish for the USD, while lower than expected reading should be taken as negative bearish for the US standard dollar. All right. All right. So May 1st, 2024, for the month of April, at 10 a.m., the actual number was 49.2. The forecast was 50, and the previous was 50.3. So it dropped a whole point, and it dropped under the forecast. So interesting. And last month it was at 48.5 as the forecast, and it dropped in March for the month of February. So interesting. Let's see. So they're saying that, so if I'm understanding correctly, so this is a bearish reading, I would assume. Interesting. All right. Let's we definitely have to do some more understanding of this report, because it's like, so basically like in my reading and understanding, what this would say is that the where is it over here? The purchasing manager index, that it was negative for the month of April. It was negative, right? That's what I get from it. It was bad. We're gonna have to figure out how to understand why it was bad, but it was bad. All right, so it is what it is. All right, so let's go back. So let's go back. Our next one, and let's go back to full screen before we get to our next one, and let's address what's going on in the chat here, right? And we have Mitch saying he appreciates that he's been thinking about taking his talents to another page, but you're under a non-compete and an NDA, so and it's enforceable because you're a senior executive, so keep that in mind. And we have Yakar saying, "Don't go. We appreciate you. They won't appreciate you the way that we do. That's a fact. That is a fact. All right." And okay, so now we get some explanation and some understanding. Mitch says, what they do is they try to compare last year versus previous year, thinking they can justify the numbers. That makes sense. Yeah, it's just like, it's a lot of it's like I'm gonna have to like break it down line by line to try to figure out like what each one means, so that when I'm reading it, it's not just a bunch of words, and it's like okay, this makes sense, that makes sense, and stuff like that. Because a lot of times, like they just use like it's like they use big words to say something like very basic. Like if all of that was to say, this is bad because of this, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. But it's like boom, 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 and it's like how, all these numbers just see red. Like okay, red means bad, green means good, right? So that's how I see it. And it says, you might be right. I still can't believe my name is in Ralph's other group. somebody said, like on Friday to me, or was it Friday? No, it was Thursday, because that's when we went live. Said, I know you and Mitch are against energy drinks, but I need to have one today because I am super, super tired and all that type of stuff. And I said, nope, it's not. I'm not against energy drinks. Mitch is, but I know they're bad for you. And because Mitch reminds me every single stream that they're bad, I told him that I will not drink energy drinks anymore, only coffee, since after the tournament back in March. And I have not drank it since, what day was that tournament? Like the 19th or 20th? It was like since like the 23rd. I haven't had March 23rd. I haven't had an energy drink, right? So that is what's happening. Okay. And yep, I definitely see Mitch's value, right? I definitely see his value. And Mitch, when is the last time that I've worn one of your favorite Heat hats that are like right over there, right? That red one right there. When is the last time I've worn it, right? Your favorite hat, I haven't worn it, all right? So, and we have my friend from South Florida, Trap and Slay, in the building. Says, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you as well, Trap. Happy to have you here. And Mitch says he's getting nervous now, just like when Kobe was planning on leaving the Lakers. A little nervous. I mean, I'll never show my nervousness, right? My armpit's sweating. I'm kidding. I'm just joking around. All right. Anyways. All right. Let's see what else we got. Is there anything else? All right. So Mitch also says, yeah, basic. It's data talk. Once you break it down, you like, why couldn't they just say that? That's what I'm like. So I have to break it down to understand like the different lines and get the big picture, and then what makes up the big picture, and then I'll be able to talk about it confidently. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. All right, cool. Let's get to our next one for today. We are going to here. And we're going to the Bureau of Labor Statistics will release the job openings and labor turnover survey for March, which measures job vacancies across industries. All right, so let's go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
I appreciate you.
What? Trap and Slay. Welcome to the channel, Trap and Slay. Awesome. Getting all my friends over here. Okay, so let's go to this one right here. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Let me zoom in on this one as well. And so it's called JOLTS. That's a cool name, JOLTS. Job Openings and Labor Turnover Survey. So program produces data on job openings, hires, and separations. Separations is a nice word for people who no longer work at a company, whether they got fired or they quit. They call it separated. It's like in relationships when you separate, we're still together, but we're separated, right? Yeah, you're pretty much fired. It's over. Okay, so let's go over to, let's look at this chart. Number of unemployed persons per job opening seasonally adjusted. So number of unemployed person per job opening. So for every job opening, there is 6 unemployed people, and all the way down to November of 2019. So this, if I'm understanding this wrong, please correct me, help me out. Is it saying that for the number of job openings, there was less than one person that was unemployed? There's a joke around that, but I'm not going to make it, right? But there was less than, think about the movie Knocked Up, right? Think about the movie Knocked Up when they were trying to get into the club, and I forgot his name, but the comedian guy, he was like, there's only a certain amount of people I can let into the club, so I have to find this type of person in order to meet the quota. All right. I'm just, anyways, let's not make that joke. All right. Anyway, so we have let's see, if we go to 2015, all the way down here, and then all the way down over here, 2019.9. So, and then pandemic hits, and we are at 5 people per job opening, and then it starts to go down in May to 3.7, 2.9. This is probably when like a bunch of people were getting like remote work, and the boot camps were paying off and stuff like that. And it went, so like a bunch of overemployment, and then now we're starting to see it trickle back up, right? But it's still pretty low right now. So according, like allegedly, all right. And Henry says, yeah, but of course, not true. Yeah, of course. Like it's interesting. All right. All right. So let's take a look at the latest numbers. We have latest job openings level in March of 2024. We have 8,488,000. So is that 488 or 8,488,000 job opening levels in March of 2024? Latest hiring rates is 3.5%. Latest total separations is 3.3%. So it seems like there are like hiring in March was a little bit higher than people that were being separated or being laid off. But like we were talking about earlier, what is the people who are getting hired? What are they getting hired to do versus the people that are getting laid off? What are they getting laid off from? So if you're getting laid off from being like a software engineer, QA, cybersecurity, whatever the case may be, I'm gonna have a video talking about. I think for the bug bite, it's gonna be talking about Google laying off some of their Flutter team, Dart team, Python team. Now, so it's just like the numbers are very, very interesting. As Mitch has said the other day, numbers lie, or men lie, women lie, numbers manipulate. It's just how you can spin the data, right? Because you'll see the same data on one news channel and then on another news channel, and one of them makes the data looks amazing, and the other one is like the end of the world is near, and it's probably like right in the middle, right? It's probably right in the middle. But that's why we are here understanding these numbers for ourselves. Okay, so let's see, what else do we got? Is there anything else on this one? Let's see. Let's see. So March job openings and hires changed a little. Total separations decreased. So they're saying like less people were laid off. February job openings rate down in 4 states, and DC layoffs and discharges up in 7. So in this one, this was from April 17th. They're saying that in 7 states that the layoffs and discharges are up, and the job opening rates are down in 4 states. All right. So that is this one. The next release, job openings and labor turnover for April, is scheduled to be June 4th, 2024. So in a month from now, we are going to be reviewing this same report, but for the month of April. And then the state job openings and labor turnover data for March of 2024 is going to be May 17th. So in about 2 weeks or so, we're going to be reviewing this one. You know, this might be one of my favorite shows of the week, right? So let's go back to full screen. And there we are. So we are, I think we're like 3 or 4 numbers review into it. We're building the cadence, right? Like, and it's all about the cadence and building, like embedding it into your mind. Whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're working out, you have to build that strategy. Like, all right, that discipline, and go see the shirt. Discipline equals freedom, right? Building that discipline. Whether like you have to build consistency. You have to build consistency, right? So that's what we are doing, and with these numbers, getting a better understanding of it all, right? All right, cool. So let's go to our next one. We just reviewed the Bureau of Statistics. All right, so we are going to be looking at next the Federal Reserve will meet to set interest rates, right? And this is going to be a BBC article. Why am I using a BBC article and not a U.S. company-based article? Because I didn't have to subscribe to get the data. The data is going to be the data, right? I didn't have to subscribe. I didn't have to like do a subscription to one of these companies to get it. So we're just going to review what we have, all right? We're going to do what we have, right? So let's take a look here. And let me zoom in a bit. So this one says, U.S. warns rates to stay high as it battles inflation. So the U.S. Central Bank again said it would keep interest rates unchanged, noting a lack of further progress towards lowering inflation. And guess what, right? Mitch, correct me if I'm wrong here, if I'm wrong. The same, like, by keeping the rates unchanged, everyone is hoping and expecting for it to go down, but they could easily put it up, couldn't they? Like, if warranted, they could put the numbers up, or they can bring it down. So people are looking for it to lower, but if they change it, it can go up, I suppose. Should it go down? That's interesting because some will argue, like very strict economy-minded people will argue that it should probably be higher. Do I know? Not 100% because I'm learning this with you all here, and Mitch is helping us get a grasp these numbers and what they mean, right? So it says the decision left the Federal Reserve key rates hovering at the highest level in more than 2 decades in the range of 5.25% to 5.5%, where it has stood since last July. By keeping borrowing costs high, the Fed is hoping to cool the economy and reduce the pressures pushing up prices. But with inflation in the U.S. proving more persistent than expected, the bank is facing questions about its next move. Analysts who had expected the banks to start cutting rates early this year have been forced to postpone forecasts, and some have even raised the possibility of a rate rise. At the press conference following the announcement, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell said he thought that a rate increase was unlikely, while repeating that officials wanted greater confidence that inflation was easing before moving to a cut. Right? So one more time. At a press conference following the announcement, Fed Chair Jerome Powell said he thought that a rate increase was unlikely, not guaranteed, but Mitch, unlikely. That means it's possible. We're hoping we don't have to do that. Make sure you stay in your place. That's how I read that, right? I read it like, make sure you stay in your place. Stop bothering me. You're lucky that it's unlikely, but don't turn it into likely, right? You better behave, right? That's how I read it. Right? So it really depends on the data and how you manipulate that data, right? Right. Okay. Cool. It's going to take longer to reach that point of comfort. I don't know how long it will take, he added. In the US, consumers' price rose 3.5% over the last 12 months to March. That is down sharply from the 9.1% rate seen in June of 2022, but remains above the Fed's 2% target, ticking higher in recent months. In its statement announcing its latest decision on Wednesday, the Fed drew attention to those trends, noting a lack of further progress bringing inflation back to its goal. The statement explicitly recognizes the recent deterioration in inflation dynamics, said Brian Colton, chief economist at Fitch Ratings. That's some water. Ooh. All right. So, where are we at now? Patience is the watchword now for the Fed, and the risk of fewer or no rate cuts this year is growing. The Fed has left rates untouched since last July after boosting them aggressively from near zero in March 2022. So, from zero to skyrocketed, right? Higher interest rates trickle out of the public in forms of more expensive mortgages. That's a fact. Cars, that's a fact. Business loans, that's a fact. And other debt. All right. All right. So the Fed's move are being closely watched around the world, where many central banks, including the Bank of England, have also had prolonged periods of sharply raised rates. Mr. Powell said policymakers in other countries may move more quickly than the US to cut rates due to worries about economic slowdown. The difference between the United States and other countries that are now considering rate cuts is that they're just not having the kind of growth we are having. We can be patient. I don't know about you, but I do not want to hear stories about people switching the cartons of $8 eggs into cartons of $2 eggs, right? Because not only is that wrong and criminal, it's also kind of embarrassing, all right? And because the rate of inflation might be like at between 5.25 and 5.5, right? But what about the price of food? This like the non-discretionary spending. The inflation on those items is way up, right? All the way up, and that's hurting the majority of people. So got to figure that out, right? But we can be patient. We can be swapping cartons for eggs, because we have that type of patience. Interesting statement to make from when you're at the top, right? Separately, the Fed also outlined its previously discussed plans to slow down the pace at which it's shrinking its holdings of U.S. Treasuries. It built up those holdings as part of its stimulus effort to bolster the economy when the pandemic hit in 2020, starting to reverse the moves 2 years later. Mr. Powell said the decision to slow that process was aimed at avoiding disruption to financial markets and not intended to influence the inflation fight, right? So that is that story about what the Fed decided to do with the inflation rate, right? So, or with the interest rate. So we have, so Mitch says exactly 100% probably will go up. And Mitch also said, don't give it to them all at once, piece by piece. Let's not forget election year. You're chatting too loud, Mitch, right? And we have the car in the chat said Jerome Powell knew that the rates would not fall because they are making more money than ever off interest. They will not cut the rates this year. They will raise the rates again before the election. And it says, yep, that's agreeing with your car. That's what I was saying. We're here, right? We're here. We're all on the same page, right? And probably raise, and then whoever president is, they will lower it a bit to make it seem like he did it. But that was the plan the whole, not part of the time, but the entire time.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Yup. All right, let's get into our next. We got about 10-ish minutes to go. Let's see where we at. We have 3 more to go. All right, so now we're going to be looking at, this was released on Thursday, May 2nd. The U.S. Department of Labor will release initial jobless claims for the previous week. The report, a proxy for layoffs, tracks the number of people filing for unemployment benefits. All right, so let's check that out. I already had it open, actually. Let me close that. Let's go to this one. All right, so the news release, it was released at 8:30 a.m. on Thursday, May 2nd. Unemployment insurance weekly claims. All right, so in the week ending of April, so seasonally adjusted data, in the week ending of April 27th, the advanced figure for seasonally adjusted initial claims was 208,000, unchanged from the previous week revised level. The previous week's level was revised up 1,000 from 207,000 to 208,000. The 4-week moving average is 210, a decrease of 3,500 from previous week's revised average. The week's average was revised up 250 from 213,250 to 213,500. All right. So the advanced seasonally adjusted insured unemployment rate was 1.2% for the week ending April 20th, unchanged from the previous week's unrevised rate. The advanced numbers for seasonally adjusted insured employment during the week ending of April 20th was 1,774,000. All right, and unchanged from the previous week's revised level. The previous week's level was revised down by 7,000 from 1,781,000 to 1,774,000. So this is the uninsured employment rate. All right. The 4-week moving average was 1,788,750, a decrease of 3,750 from the previous week's revised average. The previous week's average was revised down 1,500 from 1,794,000 to 1,792,500. Right? Yeah. So unadjusted data, the advanced numbers of actual initial claims from understate programs adjusted to 188,740 in the week ending of April 27th, to a decrease of 13,884 or negative 6.9% from the previous week. So a drop. The seasonal factors had expected a decrease of 13,133 or 6.5%. So we decreased more than from the previous week. From expected, there was 192,152 initial claims in the comparable week of 2022 or 2023. Sorry. The advanced adjusted insurance unemployment rate was 1.2% during the week ending of April 20th, unchanged from the prior week. The advanced unadjusted level of insured unemployment in state programs totaled 1,760,279, a decrease of 52,516 or negative 2.9% from the preceding week. The seasonal factor had expected to a decrease of 53,213 or negative 2.9% from the previous week. A year earlier, the rate was 1.1% of the volume of 1,687,739. Ooh, that's a lot to read. All right, let's see. All right, so one more section to go. The total number of continued weeks claimed for benefits in all programs for the week ending of April 13th was 1,837,505, a decrease of 36,526 from the previous week. There were 1,779,256 weekly claims filed for benefits in all programs in the comparable week of 2023. So we're actually, wait a second, wait just 1 second here. What what? So in so the continued weeks for benefits in all programs for the week ending of April 13th was 1,000,008. Let's say 1.8 million, right? Decrease from the previous week. However, last year it was 1.7 million weekly claims. So the weekly claims grew. That means there are more people unemployed this year than last year. Is that what I'm reading? Is that what I'm reading? Interesting. All right. No state was triggered on the extended benefits program during the week ending of April 13th. Initial claims for UI benefits filed by former federal civilian employees totaled 365 in the week ending of April 20th, an increase from 4 from the prior week. There were 360 initial claims filed by newly discharged veterans, a decrease of 18% from preceding weeks. And lastly, there were 5,091 continued weeks claimed filed by former federal civilians, week ending of April 13th, a decrease of 183 from the previous week. So they're getting some jobs. Newly discharged veterans claimed benefits totaled 4,457, a decrease of 110 from the prior week. The highest insured unemployment rates in the week ending of April 13 were in New Jersey. Shout out to Mitch in New Jersey. California. So New Jersey was 2.5. California was 2.3. Shout out to your car in California. And Illinois 1.9. Rhode Island 1.9. Massachusetts 1.8. Minnesota 1.8. New York 1.7. Washington 1.7. Alaska 1.6. And Nevada 1.6. The largest increases in initial claims for the week ending of April 20th were Massachusetts, 3,575, Rhode Island, 1,735, Texas, 450, Colorado 443, California 216, while the largest decrease were in New York, negative 4,253. Or did I say 4 million? Jeez, what am I? I'm losing it. Too many numbers. 4,253. Pennsylvania 2,763. Oregon 1,712. Georgia 1,104, and Wisconsin 994. So that was the largest increases in that was the largest decreases in initial claims for the week ending of April 20th. So that means that they didn't get an increase. They had a negative of initial claims of 4,000 in New York, 2,000 Pennsylvania, and so forth. All right. So that is that. How we doing? All right. So let's see. What else do we have? All right. Let's take the chat real quick. All right. We read that. And your car says, that's just part of the plan to make it seem like we are free enterprise without market manipulation. Exactly. All right. Let's see. What else do we have for today? It's already 10:10 over here. We just checked. Bureau of Labor Statistics will release April jobs monthly. All right. So let's take a look at that one. So let's go to this one real quick. And it says employment situation data. We are looking at the Bureau of Labor Statistics for the April jobs report. All right. So it says this was on Friday, May 3rd at 8:30 a.m. We have all this information. So total non-farm payroll employment increased by 175,000 in April, and the unemployment rate changed little at 3.9%. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today job gains occurred in healthcare, in social assistance, and in transportation and warehousing. Job gains occurred in healthcare, social assistance, and in transportation and warehousing. So, where are all the tech layoffs going? Where are all the tech layoffs going? Then this news release presents statistics from 2 monthly surveys. The household survey measures labor force status, including unemployment by demographic characteristics. The establishment survey measures non-farm employment, hours, and earnings by industry. For more information about the concepts and statistical methodology used by these 2 surveys, see the technical note. All right. So household survey data. Both the unemployment rate at 3.9% and the number of unemployed people at 6.5 million changed little in April. The unemployment rate has remained in a narrow range of 3.7% to 3.9% since August of 2023. Among the major worker groups, the unemployment rate for adult men 3.6% increased in April. So adult men gained employment. The rate for blacks 5.6% decreased. So blacks were losing jobs, offsetting an increase in the prior month. So we gained jobs. Blacks gained jobs in March, and then we lost them in April. Right. The jobless rate for adult women is 3.5%. Teenagers 11.7%, which kind of expected. Whites 3.5%. Asians 2.8%. Hispanics 4.8% showed little change over the month. And see some tables. All right. So the number of long-term unemployed, those jobless for 27 weeks or more, at 1.3 million was essentially unchanged in April. The long-term unemployed accounted for 9.6% of all unemployed people, or 19.6. The long-term unemployed accounted for 19.6% of all unemployed people. So out of these, I'm getting it's 19.6 are not long-term unemployed. The labor force participation rate held 62.7%. Is it off screen? Hold on. Let me move this over a little bit. All right, I guess that's good. Just weird formatting, I guess. All right, let me zoom in on this too. All right, there we go. Let's see. So the The labor force participation rate held. Okay. The labor force participation rate held a 6.2% in April, and the employment population ratio was little unchanged at 60.2%. These measures have shown little change over the year. The number of people employed part-time for economic reasons at 4.5 million changed little in April. These individuals who would have preferred full-time employment, I remember Mitch we were talking about earlier today, right? We were talking about earlier today. The number of people employed part-time for economic reasons at 4.5 million changed little in April. These individuals who would have preferred full-time employment were working part-time because their hours had been reduced or they were unable to find full-time jobs. Remember, when they raised the what do you call it? The what's the word I'm looking for? Minimum wage. When they raise the minimum wage and then they start cutting hours and laying people off, be careful what you advocate for, right? Be careful what you advocate for, right? So with that being said, in April, the number of people not in the labor force who currently want a job is 5.6 million, was little change. These individuals were not counted as unemployed because they were not actively looking for work during the 4 weeks preceding to the survey or were unavailable to take a job. So they just gave up. Among those not in the labor force who wanted a job, the number of people marginally attached to the labor force at 1.6 million was little change in April. These individuals wanted and were available for work and had looked for a job sometime in the prior 12 months, but had not looked for work in the 4 weeks preceding the survey. The number of discouraged workers, a subset of marginally attached who believed that no jobs were available for them, also changed little over the month at 362,000. All right. Is that it for this one? Let me see. Where are we at? Still a lot to go. All right, cool. So, all right. Let's see, where are we at here? Let's take a look at this. Over here, established survey data. Total non-farm payroll employment increased 175,000 in April, lower than the average monthly gain of 242,000 over the prior 12 months. In April, job gains occurred in healthcare, in social assistance, and in transportation and warehousing. Healthcare added 56,000 jobs in April, in line with the average monthly gain of 63,000 over the prior 12 months. In April, employment continued to increase in ambulatory healthcare services, 33,000, hospitals, 14,000, and nursing and residential care facilities at 9,000. Employment in social assistance increased by 31,000 in April, led by a gain in individual and family services of 23,000. So, and I know for a fact that these roles, like these positions, do not pay. They don't pay, right? Social assistance had added an average of 21,000 jobs per month prior to the 12 months. All right. In April, transportation and warehousing added 22,000 jobs, with gains in couriers and messengers at 8,000, warehousing and storage at 8,000. Over the prior 12 months, employment in transportation and warehousing had shown little net change. All you people who are, and Mitch. This is why I'm so happy that we're doing this, right? Because how to position and move yourself according to how the market is, right? So far, we haven't seen any increase in a lot of tech stuff over here. But people are running because how I went from 30K to 300K to 3 million to 300 million, right? Just skip the 30 million, just 300 million in 6 to 12 months. And we're looking through here, these job numbers. We're not seeing what people are going for versus what these hirings are, because the market is being flooded, right? And it's going to take hard work. It's not just, let me take this course and now I'm ready to start getting to the bag, right? It's hard work. Tech is hard. Okay. So just throwing that out there. Okay. Let's see here. Forget the 30 million. Let's just go straight to 300 million. All right. So, all right. So it says employment in retail trade continued to trend up in April of 20,000. Over the prior 12 months, the industry had added an average of 7,000 jobs per month. In April, employment increased in general merchandise retailers 10,000, build material and gardening equipment and supplies dealers 7,000, and health and personal care retailers 5,000. Electronics and appliance retailers at 3,000 jobs, right? Construction employment changed little. It grew 9,000 in April, following an increase of 40,000 in 40,000 new construction jobs in March. That is interesting. It grew 9,000 in April. Over the prior 12 months, there has been an average of 22,000 jobs per month, right? Employment in government changed little. It added 8,000 in April. Over the prior 12 months, government had added an average of 55,000 jobs per month. The government is hiring. The government is hiring. Why do you think our taxes are so high? In April, local government employment was unchanged, following an increase of 51,000 in March. Again, was there any elections recently, like local elections? Because that could constitute to the change. But I don't know. It's weird. All right. So employment was little change over the month in other major industries, including mining, quarrying, oil and gas extraction, manufacturing, wholesale trade, information, financial activities, professional and business services, leisure, hospitality, and other services, right? In April, the average hourly earnings for all employees on private non-farm payrolls increased by 7 cents. 7 whole cents, or 0.2% to $34.75. All right. So that means we were making like $34.68 cents. $34.68. Over the past 12 months, average hourly earnings have increased by 3.9%. In April, average hourly earnings of private sector production and non-supervisory employees edged up by 6 cents as well. All right, let's see, or by 0.2% to $29.83. All right, and to wrap it up, in April, the average work week for all employees on private non-farm payrolls edged down by 0.1% to 34.3 hours. In manufacturing, the average work week was unchanged at 40 hours, and overtime was also unchanged at 2.9 hours. The average work week for production and non-supervisory employees on private non-farm payrolls edged down by 0.1 hour to 33.7. The change in total non-farm payrolls for February was revised down by 34,000 from 270,000 to 236,000, and the change from March was revised up by 12,000 from 203,000 to 315,000. With these revisions, employment in February and March combined is 22,000 lower than the previously reported. Monthly revisions result from additional reports received from business and government agencies since the last published estimates and from the recalculation of seasonal factors. All right. So that is that. Those numbers, right? So let's see. Your car said, all right. So actually, just keep going up a little bit. So let's keep going up a little bit. All right. So we have, Mitch says, warehouse, I believe, once they find something else, they are out. Facts. And Mitch says, funny how they say healthcare, not saying exactly where, but hospitals have warehouses too. Distribution. That's a good point. That is a good point. Or health courier workers. So, and that'd be like people like, because there are like I've seen it in pharmaceutical where they go like to like hospital clinics and stuff like that, dropping off samples and things like that. Or there might be people like couriers who are delivering like blood and things like that. So yeah, I see that as well. And they're probably like part-time for the most part. And it says, or they work part-time at grocery stores until they find something, but self-checkouts are eliminating cashiers. And I'll tell you this, right? I was thinking about this. If I went, like, let's say I was new to tech and I'm trying to get into tech. And a lot of times like people, they just want to go straight, run through the front door. and they see like, oh, it's a steel door. That door is not going to open. What I would do is I would take a job somewhere, like anywhere, right? Where, or if I'm working not in tech at a company, I would leverage everything that I'm learning and then try to find find a way into that company's tech team, right? Whether it's like customer service or help desk or whatever, and then build myself up from there. Instead of like, oh, I don't like working at the warehouse that I'm working at or whatever that I'm doing. And now, or being a teacher or whatever the case, right? Because let's say you're working as a teacher in a school board. All school boards have IT. And you can maneuver your way into those positions. Like I could be wrong, right? Let me know what you think about this, Yukar, right? But I'm like, why can't we use where we're at to get to where we're going? Why do we have to do a complete 180 and go like totally different? Because they're going to need cybersecurity in the school board. Walmart has cybersecurity. Why don't you use those tools to incrementally increase? Nope. We have to, because they told me that on YouTube that I can go make $400,000 in a year when I was making $40,000, and now I just have to go like I'm just gonna quit my job and I'm gonna go chase that $40,000, and then after 4,000 applications and you get absolutely nothing, then you're gonna say that, oh, nobody wants to take a chance on me. These companies, they need to change their, like you want to come to my house, but you want me to change my rules for you to enter my house. Absolutely not. So use where you're at to get to where you're going. If you're in a car, you're not just gonna jump out of the car and like, oh, now no one wants to pick you up as a hitchhiker. You know, that's what I don't know. I digress. Right? Sorry. Right? Yes. 300 million, Mitch. We're skipping the 30 million. We're going straight to that. And Mitch says, sad to say, it's who you know mixed with what you know. 100%. Because you could like, remember one of my first conversations with Joseph and Trey. You can know, like you can know the person and they can get you in the door. But if you don't know nothing, then you're not gonna make it. And you make the person that you know look bad, because if they vouch for you and you can't perform, you have bad attitude and stuff like that, it's not gonna work. And that's why I don't really recommend people. I don't recommend people, you know. And your car says these are just gig economy workers going in and out of the market. Facts, right? And Mitch says, you mean contract? And let's see. And Mitch also said, government really doesn't lay off, but a lot of people don't like it because of the crazy background check they do. But if you can get in, it's great. Once you're in for life, right? But yeah, like, and they'll move you around and stuff like that. But from what I've seen mostly though, the pay from government is a lot lower than what it is in the private sector. I mean, some jobs it might not be the case, but they require like these certifications and all this background check and stuff like that for a pay that could be like kind of nominal, you know. It depends, right? And your car said, yes, the 1099 worker that works for apps are just really underemployed workers who are trying to make ends meet while looking for a better job. Total fact. And Mitch says 2 cents is sick. And Mitch says, yeah, delivery. I know people that do that. Some part-time, some full-time. And Mitch is saying, I get what you're saying, but most people don't know they can do that. They aren't exposed to it. I'm going to call cap on that, Mitch. Here's why I'm calling cap on that, right? Because when I was in college, right, I was working it's when they just started introducing neighborhood Walmarts down, and it was in Orlando. And I was working overnight at the neighborhood Walmart. And I had like a week-long orientation. Oh, no, I don't know. It was like either a week or a few days, whatever, orientation at Walmart. And they gave you a whole list of benefits that they offer, where like they'll help you with like resources like educational resources, all this type of stuff. When I started in technical support, right? They gave orientation. They said, okay, these are the benefits, and like, see, the problem is a lot of people, they don't look at the benefits. I wish when I started my technical support job for a web hosting company that I had understood what 401k was, and I had put money in there because I would have so much more now, right? But most people they don't pay attention. They just I just want my check. I just want the check. I just want the check. Oh, I want to make 140k. I want to make 150k. I want to make 200k. When they don't look at like, okay, how much are you putting in your 401k? What kind of equity can you get from this company? Like, imagine if it's a good company and they end up going public and they gave you stock shares. Like, your pay might be a little bit lower, but they gave you the stock shares. So I think is that we do not do our own due diligence because they give you the information and you choose not to. How many companies offer like they help you pay for school? Even a lot of times at part-time, they'll help you pay for school. So that's why like I call multi-cap on that. It's not that they're not exposed to it. They ignore it. And then they complain about their job. They ignore all the benefits and they tell, oh, this is why this job is so bad. I call cap on that, right? And Mitch also said, the company I work for is literally big enough where you can transition to anything. The problem is most don't know about it, and some just want to completely leave altogether. Facts. And guess what? How do you know about it? How do you know about it, Mitch? That's what. How do you like? And who can you talk to? Who can you talk to? Like you can like people never want to go and talk to HR. You can go and talk to HR. You can talk to your manager. Like so many things you can do. And so and your car says, you're 100% correct. Tech is everywhere. So it's best to ask around the people you know and seek a position. Cybersecurity is best because it contains security with money. They can see that value. And imagine this. Like let's say you work at a bank, right? As a banker or whatever in a bank, right? Whatever it is that you work in a bank. And the fintech space is huge. So like your car is saying, let's say you learn cybersecurity. Let's say you learn software development, UI, UX, whatever the case may be. And you stay in that bank and you start making friends and people in there start reaching if like you start the sprint reviews and stuff like that, if they're doing agile, they're open. So like you can reach out like, hey, when do you guys have your sprint reviews? I'd like to attend it to see to get some more insight in what we do, the applications that we're building. Start positioning yourself. Stop complaining. Like coming out on Monday, like I said, like I'm not allergic to many things. I'm allergic to one thing that I know of, and that is to complaining. I am allergic to complaining. Stop complaining and put yourself in the position to get to where you want to be. You are at a company that is so much further than a lot of other people. So you leverage that company to grow. You still have to do the work of learning stuff. But see, the thing is, we want somebody to hold our hands. No one is coming to save you. And the ones who are willing to hold your hands, they're going to charge you $10,000, and then you're going to be left out because after 4,000 applications, not getting to that $3 million a year, right? And now you're going to be feeling some kind of way, complaining about oh, I'm a victim because they told me I would get this job because you believed it. It's all your fault, right? All your fault. Anyways, I'm going off on a rant. All right? And it says, you're different though. Most people aren't like that. I am sorry for most people, right? Sorry, not sorry, right? And it says, my company even has their own university that teaches data. You see, that's what I'm talking about. But do they take it? No. And that's why I say it is all there. I don't care about how most people. If I'm different, then you need to be different too, right? And why are you different, Mitch? Why do we see eye to eye on this type of stuff? And like, hey, you can go out there and get it. Why is every single Saturday Tech Niche Tips is bringing on somebody new to expose the different areas of like tech and like more on the tech sales side, right? But they're bringing people in. And all right, that's a fair point. That's a fair point, right? He is Superman. He is Superman, all right? And your card says, I agree, Mitch. That's what separates us from the masses. We actually deep dive into things we do. So we extract the most while people leave a lot on the table. That's a fact, right? But at the end of the day, these companies are giving you this stuff. So like they might be paying, like for example, right? Let's say they're paying you $12 an hour at Walmart, for example, right? As a cashier or stock or whatever it is, right? But And you're like, oh, no. I want $25 an hour. I want $30 an hour. I want a livable wage, right? But guess what? They're trying to help you get that livable wage because in that $12, they're also offsetting it by like, they're also offsetting and say, okay, you have access to like Walmart University and all these things that you can level up. You can grow in the company this way. We're going to help you get to that livable wage if you earn it. But no, we want to protest instead of study. We want to protest instead of study, right? Give me a break. And it says, I asked around in the company, different managers, etc., in different departments, some things they didn't know. I had to tell them. So it's a win-win. You see, adding value. How are you going to add value today, right? And it says, I don't waste words. So when I talk, they know it's time to listen because I'm not saying it again. You see what I'm talking about? I feel like ending the show, but we have one more to go into. Let's take a quick look at that real quick. Let's take a quick look at that. It's very similar to the first one, but it's the but I'd be going off, right? The Institute of Supply Management will release its non-manufacturing version of Purchasing Manager Index. This is the one I had a little bit of trouble trying to find. But let's see real quick, right? We're gonna do this one really quick. See. So, and I think, I'm getting confused by this because this one seems like it's the same one as the other one that we read, just on a different site. So, let me see. Let's take a real quick look down 49.2%. This is exactly the same thing that we read, right? So we're pretty much done. I need to find because they revise it to call the report on business. And I don't see the non-manufacturing report. So, or maybe what I read was a non-manufacturing report. So I don't know, but that's where we're at, right? That's where we're at. So we already read this. I'm gonna do some more research to make sure I distinguish the two different reports, so we can have a better understanding next time we come around it. But we'll find out this week if we're gonna be doing this again next Saturday. Mitch is the one who decides. He'll give us the thumbs up or the thumbs down. And I will have to get that graphic, that clip for the thumbs up and the thumbs down, so we can figure that out. All right. But we're gonna wrap it up. We are going to wrap it up. We had an amazing show. Today. We've been going for an hour and a half. Shout out to that. Having fun talking about the weekly numbers and getting some valuable insight from Mitch and Yakar and Darcel and Trap and Slay in the building. All right. I appreciate you all. And I'll do this tomorrow. But let's see. So let's say Mitch says it's free too. Free 99. It's a 6-month class at your company that a huge company. Many people have access to it, but they want to sit around and complain. Oh, my allergies are starting to act up now, right? When people start to complain, I guarantee you this, right? You can ask my family. When something is supposed to be done, and I start hearing excuses on why it's not done, I start you can see my whole demeanor shift, and I start to get hot and mad. I'm like, I gotta go, and I just like okay, and I just leave because I'm allergic to excuses. I'm allergic to complaining. My two allergies, all right. And Mitch says you just gotta take prerequisites before you take it, but that's free too. Right? Now, what's gonna happen, Mitch, is they're gonna hunt you down and they're gonna find you on LinkedIn and says, hey, can you give me a recommendation to your company? All right, what have you done in the past 6 months, right? I Googled or I watched on YouTube a 10-minute video on how to do data analytics and engineering. And you're like, that's it? And they're dead serious. Oh, and I applied to 4,000 jobs, right? Cool. All right. Yeah. Show me something you do with NumPy. Show me something you do with pandas. Show me something you do with pyplotlibs, right? Udemy course, $10, maybe $15-$20. Give you everything you need to know about data, and then apply that to something, right? And Mitch says certain levels at Walmart pay good. Of course they do, because it's not, when you think about Walmart, it's not only in the store. You can level up starting, like, I'm sure there's many success stories, people who started up at Walmart in like stocking shelves. And now they might be like working in the IT as a web engineer or software engineer, UI, UX, whatever. So many opportunities that we fumble, right? It drives me crazy. And Mitch says, that's what I said earlier in the comment, PMI. And Mitch says, it's up to you. I'm good if you're good. All right, we're gonna figure it out. All right. And your car says, salute to you as well. Your car, I always appreciate, and your car getting up so early to hang out with me this morning. I really, really appreciate it. That from the bottom of my heart. You know what? You get one of these. I appreciate your car. And all right, and you know, that's about it. Is it hot? Udemy is just about free, right? Udemy is just about free. All right, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, for hanging out with me as we made these numbers fun. And at the end, it got a little bit feisty because I want to see you guys win. And that's why the video from last week, we're not friends because I want to see you win. Right? I have a special shout out I'm going to give tomorrow because somebody donated a bunch of memberships on the channel. It was like right after we were going off the stream. I had finished pressing end and then it all came in. So I'm going to thank them at the beginning of tomorrow's show personally because it meant a lot. And I really, really appreciate everyone who shows up, who contributes, all that, because guess what? Even better than memberships and super chats and all that stuff, us interacting, going back and forth, sharing ideas in the chat, that is the true contribution to the channel. And that means the world to me. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. Your car, have a great Saturday. Mitch, have a great Saturday. By the way, everyone, I'm about to go head over to Tech Niche Tips channel to watch their stream starting in about 20 minutes. They have someone that I spoke to last year, which I gave them the idea of, hey, stop looking for people to bring you on. Start creating your own content, showing them how awesome you are. Astrid Malone, customer success, right? They came up on the show to promote the event that they were having. Come and check it out. And that's what we're going to do, right? So I'm going to head over there, check out Tech Niche Tips. Let me see if I can get their link real quick, drop it in the chat. I already shared it on my community tab yesterday. It's going to, I believe it's going to be a fire show. Let me put it in. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Put it in the chat before we head out, because that's where I'm headed over to. Tips.com. And let's copy that link. Shows up. What's going on here? All right, there we go. Coming up in about 20 minutes. Tech Niche Tips. Actually, let me just put the link to the exact show in the chat. Let's see, live. And take that. Boom. There it goes. Heading over to Tech Niche Tips. I will see. Oh my God. I can't copy. There we go. I will see you guys over there. Make sure you tune in. We have Astrid Malone going to be talking to Joseph Smith at Tech Niche Tips. All right. See you guys over there. I'm going to wrap it up. You got Mitch. You know what time it is, right? You know what time it is. I have a couple of questions for you. Well, so much for that time because things are freezing up, right? Things are freezing up over here.
Money.
Darcel, why are you doing this to me, Darcel? Why are you guys are too much, right? Darcel, I appreciate you, Darcel. Darcel says, just want to support the channel, bro. I really, really appreciate you, Darcel. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But soundboard is acting up. We're gonna wrap it up. I can't. Things are going slow. We're ending it. Thank you guys so much. I'm out of here. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed day. Take it easy. Things are freezing up on me over here. Let's see. Let's go with that. All right, there we go.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.